Let's bring in the host of the Insiders.
There he is.
Here on ESPN 1320. Our good friend James Ham. James, this is the first time you're pulling double duty here with your new job. You're listening to D'Lo and KC on KIFM, West Sacramento, 98.5 FM, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, always live on the free Odyssey app and live with James and Kyle Monday through Friday, 10 to 12 a.m. here on ESPN 1320. How have the first few days been, James?
I'm loving it. It's been a little bit of an adjustment for sure. Like running a show versus just popping in and like making everyone else do all the work.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I roll typically. Is I just let you guys do all the work.
You could do that still. You could make Kyle do all of the work and you just roll in and get ready to go.
I told Kyle, like I'm someone who always gets in early, right? So it doesn't matter. Like they know down in at Golden One that if they need something, I'm usually around on a game day or on a practice day. I'm always early. And so yeah, like it's been good. Like adjusting to like trying to get in and out of breaks, that was new. But I think I'm learning. I just know that you guys are cool and have not very many breaks, and I am not cool and have so many breaks that it's dizzying.
We're gonna work on that, James. We'll get
But
you there.
but outside of that, like I love it. I think it's been good conversation. We of course had Nick Bosa watch 2023 today until he signed right after we were off the air. So
Now you got the experience of news breaking the second your show ends.
Yeah, I love it. You guys get all the glory. Like, I mean, it was a shtick where, like, we were making him fun of the fact that we're all like waiting on pins and needles, and even the reporting on this one has been so weird. Like the Bosa reporting has been so strange. So nobody knew anything. That is what happened. They didn't know anything, and then when they didn't know anything, they got frustrated because they didn't know anything. And then we get like the strange reports, like, oh, like no one thinks he's gonna play this weekend, that he's out, and like there's no conversations going on. It's like, yeah, no, they're just waiting to announce it.
Well, so what do you think happened? I've been meaning to ask you this too, Dane, but James, you can answer first. Like, what do you think happened? Because the only thing that I do put stock in this particular situation is Ian Rappaport and these numbers and the way things are playing out. I think somebody in San Francisco was giving that information to Ian. Because I think at some point, whether they do it in a super public way or you start leaking things out, you got to answer to like why this isn't getting done. And maybe you don't have an answer, but you can put out like, it's not really on our side. We're willing to give them $30 million. Like you can put your point of view out there without maybe making him look bad, right? Like we're offering 30 mil. You don't want to sign the deal. I'm not here to say what he's looking for, what he's not looking for. Just know, Ian, we're offering 30 mil a year. So like I do believe those things were happening, but this morning, Ian Rappaport was like, man, a crazy breakthrough is going to have to happen. And then 4 hours later, he's the richest non-quarterback in the history of the game.
Yeah.
The crazy breakthrough is always just sitting there. Like it was. That's how a deal like this works. Like they had parameters. Guys were hardballing this or that. They each of them probably had a list of things that they were hoping to get out of the negotiation. And in the end, they both probably lost a little bit here and there. The guaranteed money is really high, but I think it could have been higher. The overall money is absolutely astronomical, which is not something that I think, if the Niners were looking at 30 million and you're signing him for what, 34, that's a big difference. That puts you like way up there. I honestly believe though that what happened was Nick Bosa was listening to you, Kenny, yesterday, basically just yell that he wasn't that guy. And so he's like, oh no, I got to go prove that I'm that guy. And that ain't happening no more. I think that's what happened. Honestly,
Well,
I think
the 49ers were also listening to me too, because I told them as well, just get it done. This is ridiculous on both sides. And clearly they're like, you know what? I got KC right, man. He's right, man. Come on, Jed. Like, let's give him 34. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even go back to like the Harrison Barnes negotiations this summer. Like from what I know, they had negotiations with Harrison Barnes and then they stopped. And Barnes's people were like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And they're like, "Nothing. We just have to do our due diligence." And they're like, "Okay." And they
Stopped,
waited.
called Masai Ujiri, and then called Harrison Barnes back.
But they waited and they waited. We got to like 2.5 weeks. It started to get a little creaky. It started to get a little bit like, I don't think they're too happy about all this waiting. And then out of nowhere, again, I was on vacation and I get a text, "Hey, negotiations back on. This thing's happening."
Yeah.
And that's how it
Immediately
happened.
following our show, by the way. James,
Yes.
James texted me at like 4:20. Hey, talks are back on. Oh, great.
Yeah. Here I am in Puerto Vallarta trying to get sunburned. And they are messing with my all inclusive.
I'm guessing you didn't have to try that hard.
No, no. And then boom, it happens. And so sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes there's a cooling off period. Sometimes there's just like everyone knows he doesn't really want to show up until today. Everyone kind of knows. I mean, like, I think he's like waiting down the street. Is he like at a Starbucks, like with his feet up, like?
I got the impression he's not even here. He legit might be
No?
in Florida. Like I don't know. Like Kyle, he could have been embellishing. I don't.
I definitely don't think he was in California.
Yeah, I don't either. But
because I've heard
Well,
people before Kyle said Bosa will get here.
and it could also be a thing where his people call him last night. Hey, we're getting this done today. We have enough reason to believe we're getting this done today. Get on a plane first thing in the morning and get to Santa Clara.
yeah. Or it's possible they're just like, "Hey, we know you're in great shape. We have this thing called DocuSign now. We don't even really need you to come in here with a pen. Why don't you just meet us in Pittsburgh? We'll see you there. It's a much shorter flight, and we'll just do it that way."
Well, that is true.
Yeah, you might want to. I mean,
I think
get one practice in,
well,
like at least one.
I think they're
get hit once.
Are they leaving today or tomorrow? Maybe they're leaving tomorrow.
I think they're leaving tomorrow, but they're not going to practice tomorrow. I don't think.
Oh, they have a walkthrough.
I would think they practice tomorrow, wouldn't they? Here, wouldn't they? I'm not here in Santa Clara, in California.
It might be different, with basketball. It's like I know this last year, Mike Brown liked to fly to their location, get off the plane, and go work out the kinks and go get a practice in once they landed. And that was new. That was something we hadn't really seen before. And so it's very possible that they'll do that as well, that they'll fly to Pittsburgh and then get a practice in Pittsburgh, different time zone, start to, kind of get acclimated and settled in.
Ultimately, what's this change?
Well,
you still expect them to be you expected them to be a Super Bowl team yesterday.
Yeah.
You expect them to be a Super Bowl team today. It's just all the T's have been crossed now.
Do you think I was a one-man wolf pack with that?
With what?
With thinking they were a Super Bowl team yesterday. Bosa wasn't signed. He wasn't with the team.
No, I don't think so.
Like
I got a list of questions in our notes that we just didn't get to because we didn't have to, and that was kind of along the lines of one of them. Sorry, Hammer.
Yeah, I was saying, like, Kyle and I discussed, and Kyle's like sold that they're not a Super Bowl contending team without him. And my point of view is like, you don't know if someone's a Super Bowl contending team until the week before the Super Bowl. Like, that's the way it goes. Like, whether they can get there or not, sure. Like, on paper, they look great, and they've been there 3 of the last 5 years. So you would assume that they'd at least have an opportunity, but like, it's a 17-week season, and so much can happen in the NFL in 17 weeks, just like so much can happen in 82 game schedule in the NBA, where teams go from contenders to pretenders like super quick. And so, like, look, I don't know if they're a Super Bowl team either way, but I would bank on getting there with him more than getting there without him.
Yeah, I thought, like Damien just said, I thought that there was a team that was loaded even without him. And now you bring him into the fold. And I said it earlier, James, I think this is the best opportunity Kyle Shanahan has ever had to win a Super Bowl with this roster. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they've got weapons. They've got playmakers on both sides of the ball. They're stacked. They are stacked.
I totally agree. They are stacked, but at the end of the day, like you just don't know. You don't know how it all pieces together. Just like all we talk about with the Kings is, continuity and keeping it together. What if it just doesn't work in year 2? There's always that possibility. And what if it not only works, but if the Ken Piffany is right and this is a championship team? Like, it's totally possible, and that's why, like, I have a tough time, like, I do predictions on win totals and stuff like that, but realistically, as someone who covers a team on a daily basis, I don't get into the who they are and how good they are until we get to a certain point where they prove to you who they are, and usually, with this Kings team, they would prove to you who they were by, like Thanksgiving, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be a long one." But the last season, but I kept feeling the same way. Like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole time. And then they kept proving who they were. And then we get to the All-Star break and you get to the trade deadline, the All-Star break. You're like, who are they going to be? They proved who they were. They're a really good team. And so I have no problem saying after watching 48 wins that that's a really good team. But we don't know going into the next year. You never know what will happen. And that's why you got to play the games.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that and think football is the ultimate wild card because of how short the season is and how each of those positions is so vital. Not to insinuate that's not the case in the NBA, but that I feel like in what you said is 100% accurate. But I also feel like in the NBA, there are teams that you just kind of know. Like Boston's going to be there next year. Where there is, I'm not really sure. They're not going to be 10th, whether they're first, second, or third, or fourth, or whatever. That's up for conversation. Of course, the Kings, unfortunately, don't yet fall into that category. They're not one of those teams that you can go ahead and pencil in or Sharpie in as the season goes along. But I just don't feel like that same parity is, and probably, James, part of the reason for that is, as much as you might be able to pinpoint who's good, a lot of times in the NBA, you can pinpoint who's bad.
Yes.
And when you pinpoint who's bad, now it's just a math game. Okay, at what point are we at 10 or 9 or 8 or 7 or whatever? And that's sometimes how you can work through things in the NBA.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the NFL, I mean, we watched it in the NFC Championship game. The potential winner of the Super Bowl was literally changed on one play. Brock Purdy blows out his elbow, it's done. Like they were basically eliminated on one play. And then who knows what would have happened if he would have stayed healthy and he would have gone on to play, if they would have won, if he would have gone on to go to the Super Bowl. Like we don't know, but it's one play. Rarely in the NBA is it something so dramatic. And rarely do you see a team just fall off the face of the earth. Like for instance, the Dallas Mavericks last year. That's an anomaly by NBA standards. Watching a team that had been building and getting better and better and better to just be horrible, like that didn't make any sense. It rarely does it happen. And so it doesn't make any sense so bad that so many people are like expecting them to be like a 48 win, 50 win team again. And those are the things where you're just kind of looking at like the NBA doesn't usually work. It doesn't swing that way like the NFL does. But on occasion it does. And like I don't think anyone expected the Kings to, I mean, they could have been good, like, but to be the 3rd seed and great, that wasn't expected. And it was a pretty big anomaly. And, if you look at the history of the league over the last, 30, 40 years.
Which one you guys like better? Do you like the 4 out, 4 in nature of the NFL, or you know what you're getting style of the NBA? I typically like the NBA style. Like I don't, if my team or if they've ascended to the point like the Kings right now, they've ascended to the point where they're a good team. I like to bet on the fact that this is a good team, and now we're trying to reach another level. If that's the case, not I don't know, randomly the Giants, the New York Giants. Oh, we had a great season, but man, we might end up being 5-11 this year.
Well, that might be how people feel about Sacramento, though. We might be the Giants.
They might, but the history of the league is that's not what happens.
Well, you're right, like but it happened to Dallas, as James pointed out. It happened
but Dallas still had 3 seasons in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Like the Giants might go from divisional round to top 10 pick in the draft. Like that don't usually happen in the NBA. I like it more where Dallas, we talk about Dallas. Dallas had 3 years to get their stuff together. They couldn't figure it out. Now they might be on the downturn. Like at least you got your 3 years like, all right, we're here. Can we elevate and figure it out? As you got 3 minutes in the NFL.
Yeah.
It might not work. But that's just me. Like which one do you guys
like?
Knicks
ascended and dropped off. But now I'm just picking apart what you said. Sorry.
I do like the parity. Like that's what you're talking about. The parity of the NFL where you have no idea from one season to the next, like what a team is going to be. And the NBA, it does have such a, an order to it where a team hits this stage and then they get stuck and either they go up or they drop down a couple of wins. And then they always try to like add a couple of players that they think will take them up. And then that doesn't work. And now they're in salary cap trouble. Or you see a team who hits a point and then they make the playoffs. And then the next season they make it to the second round and they start to progress and become sort of like the team they're going to be for, 5 or 6 year window. I think that's where, again, if I were betting on who the Sacramento Kings will be, I would say they're a team on the rise, a team that's well put together, that's built to withstand, quite a few erratic things that could happen during a season. But they're a team that like has that look of someone who's going to climb, not of a team that was a flash in the pan that has no chance of being good again. And it's just some random thing that happened that made them good, or the league was bad and they couldn't figure out, the other teams couldn't figure it out. Like we can talk about how healthy the Kings were or anything else. Like, look, they worked really hard. They practiced hard. Their training staff was on top of them. They played through injuries. Like, I'm not going to say that the Kings were good because they had no injuries. Like, were they better because of that? Sure, that they had a lack of injury, but that they also had players who put in the work and didn't get injured because they were in good health and because they put in, they ate right and they slept right and they were ready to play. Their focus was on basketball. And that's not always the case, not just in Sacramento, but in the NBA as a whole.
I'm kind of like with James in the sense I do like the parity in the NFL. One thing I really enjoy is, the 17 game schedule. There's no, the season doesn't start until Thanksgiving. Like that's not a thing in the NFL.
Hell, you go 0-1. Well, no team is started 0-2.
Yeah, you go 0-2 and I don't know how that number changes now that it's 17 games versus 16, but it's a lot like college football. Like every week, opening week, like, Clemson already lost. Like there's some big boys that already lost. Like that's going to linger with them. You can't avoid that for the entire year. It's not quite as dramatic in the NFL because the NFL is still results based. In college football, there's some stuff that's not necessarily results based, right? So that's a component to the NFL that I do appreciate.
I'd add too.
Maybe my opinion though will change though if the Kings are now in a 10-year run of making the playoffs. Maybe I reserve the right to change my mind.
NBA is great.
It's fantastic.
I would add too, like what you're saying there. College football has that weird element that, like we see the Colorado TCU thing, right? Like TCU now is like hoping really deep down that they're going to be good, but also that Colorado's going to be good. Because that's the only way that they can climb back up.
If you make that loss look good.
Yeah, if Colorado ends up being just a dog and you got beat by like a big mouth guy running in, flapping his gums in week 1, and then he goes on to put up a 2-11 season or 2-10 season, then they're shot. Like they understand that they're in a bunch of trouble. Yeah, it's weird that I'm not a college football fan. Like just the point spreads and everything else, like what we see. Like, what would you see the one coach crying when the team's down like 81-0 this week, or he looks like he's about to cry? Like, Who wants to watch that? Who wants that's not a sport. That's not.
We didn't talk about that.
I get emotional about this. I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
Stop crying, sir. Stop crying. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, take it on the chin.
Yeah, it's. I'm all for emotion.
Also, what did you think was going to happen?
I'm all for emotion in most situations.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one, though. Like, why would you even want to do that? But then again, I played at a high school football powerhouse. We did that to teams every single week, and it was brutal to be a part of. It wasn't fun. I think I've told you guys this story. We had a day game at Del Paso. I think that's what it is. Yeah, Del Paso Heights, right? Yeah, so we had a day game there because they didn't have lights. So you'd have to go play there for a Saturday day game. And September, October, it can still be 90 something degrees. And it was miserable. Their field was always dead. You're playing on dirt and it was horrible. And we were up, I want to say 49-0 right before halftime. And my coach, we scored with like maybe 60 seconds left in the half. My coach ran an onside kick, which why he would do that up 49-0, I'm not sure. Took a bad hop, went right to their guy who split right through us and ran for a touchdown. So now it's 49-7. We got 20 seconds left in the half. Ball at the 20-yard line after the kickoff. We run a hook and ladder for an 80-yard touchdown and go in 56-7. That's not fun. I don't know who had a good time. The starters had a really good time in the first half, and then, they pull everything back once everyone else gets to play. But I just felt bad for the other team the whole time, and that's what college football is like every time. Like half the games are 30-point, 40-point blowouts.
College football is great. You're missing.
You got to watch the right ones.
Yeah.
But Alfonso does make a good point here. KC hates coaches, especially crying coaches.
Well, this is not true.
Unless
this is not true.
He's the one crying.
Well, kids have been working so hard, man, and they played their little butts off, man, and just
that might have been what Willie Green was saying on the sidelines, and you've trashed him for 2 years.
Well, I shed a tear after the game, not in the third quarter.
Well, it wasn't the third quarter.
Willie, there's 15 minutes left in this game. Come on,
that's
coach.
not what happened.
Why are you crying?
That's not
Willie,
what
your team is up 3. Why are you crying?
That's not what happened. You guys need to stop this. That's not what happened.
This guy, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. You need to stop it.
You got next week, sir. Game 1.
Hey,
season's not over.
James, you'll appreciate this. Your boy over here he won't say it, but he's trying to convince everyone without actually saying it that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs this year.
I'm just trying to have a
Come on
conversation.
now.
Trying to have a conversation.
They're missing pieces. There's no doubt about it. But man, your love for the Broncos and Chargers. The Chargers who you ruled out of the playoffs.
I don't have the Broncos winning the division. If I had to put money on it, I'd put your money on the Kansas City Chiefs.
You're gonna do it. My money. My money don't go on.
Let's take a look
nothing.
at this. Like, man, okay.
As long as Patrick Mahomes gets 4,800 yards and 40 touchdowns, I don't care whether they make the playoffs or not.
Oh, okay. All right. This is why I hate fantasy football, because of that right there. This is why I hate fantasy football.
All I care about is that right there.
James wants to take his Jordan picture with all of his fantasy football championship rings.
Did Brady ever miss the playoffs?
I mean,
his team did.
The year he was hurt.
I feel like he did.
They were 11-5 and missed the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't think he did.
Missed it once without injury in 2002.
2002? Was that like his second year?
Yeah,
and we can't blame that on Drew Bledsoe. Like, wow.
It was 0-1. They won the Super Bowl. They didn't go back to back. I guess they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they ever won back-to-back Super Bowls. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Spurs. The Spurs
definitely never won back.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. We did have our big fantasy football draft on Monday, and so me and my son, we bring out the rings and the Mahomes jerseys. And someone next to me, when my buddy Matt started talking trash, and I just aimed my rings at him and set them next to him.
Did you get any? What kind of pickups did you get?
Oh, we're pretty solid. We're pretty solid from top to bottom. Of course, we have Mahomes.
So
That's all that matters.
it's just that you're in, you call it a keeper leagues, but in it's one player that you keep or multiple?
You can keep up to 2, and then
Oh,
one defensive player because we do
Did you
individual.
did you keep 2 or just Patrick Mahomes?
No, we kept Mahomes and we kept CD Lamb.
Oh, okay.
CeeDee
It's a
Lamb.
12-man league. It would have been tough to
Yeah.
get him a player that good on the
Yeah,
way back.
yeah. That's a good pickup. We'll come back. We'll go back to the NBA. There's a couple of things I want to ask James that we didn't really get to. Giannis is sneaky, making a lot of noise here lately. Not Giannis. There just seems to be a lot of noise around Giannis. So James will lay out how the Sacramento Kings can pick up Giannis Antetokounmpo when D'Lo and Casey return here on Sacramento Sports Leader ESPN 1320. Wait till he's gonna post a picture out by the beam. I'll be
Post a picture at the little piglet.
Piglet.
Rabbit on Giannis' story.
Oh, whoa.
I've been missing I didn't see the Giannis stuff.
Yeah, he's not signing the extension.
Oh. Yeah, I did see him say something to the effect of he wants to make sure that everyone on that team is committed like he's committed and all that stuff. I don't know. Hi, Russell Hunt. It has been a long time since I've seen you. Hey, Alfonso Valdez, did you not listen on Friday? We had an entire 30-minute section on fantasy football, and we plan on
Yes.
Yeah, we plan on doing Fantasy Fridays with our guy Faraz Siddiqui. Did Kenny, did you see our show when we were talking about the Serbian national player that got elbowed in the kidney?
No.
Did you read the story?
No, what happened?
Okay,
I
so Serbia was playing South Sudan last week. Dude gets elbowed in the kidney. It was so bad that he had to go in for surgery. Surgery didn't go well. They had to go back in a couple of days later, and he lost his kidney.
Oh.
He lost his kidney playing in the World Cup.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So they won today, or this morning or whatever. And that was the big, like him saying, "Hey guys, I'm all right. Thanks for winning
I've
one
never
for me."
heard of that before. Like that's crazy.
I know. I don't even remember an NFL player losing their kidney.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean that's just crazy.
That reminds me of the story. I've told it before, but how I think it was Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez catches a ball on the sidelines and runs into the cameraman, knocks him down, and he got like a concussion or something like that. And that had him go to the doctor because he got a concussion. And he went to the doctor and they're like, "Hey, you got cancer."
Yeah, brain tumor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they found a brain tumor on the MRI. Yeah.
Yeah. And he would have never known that if that didn't happen. I think they kind of took care of him. I don't think he's with us anymore, but I think that they kind of treated that as well as they could for a while, and it saved his life for a little while.
I think it saved his life for a long time. Actually,
Yeah.
I think he went on to I think it was a good 10, 15 years later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, so Karis LeVert. Okay, so we were talking about this. There have been NBA players that have lost kidneys. Because you remember Sean Elliott and I believe Alonzo Mourning as well.
Yeah, I do remember.
So, but I'm almost positive both of those were due to too many anti-inflammatories.
Yeah. Never heard it from that blunt trauma.
Yeah. But Damien, did you hear us talking about the Serbian national player who lost his kidney?
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that on the show.
Yeah, it's just wild. We were just rehashing that for the good folks here.
Jesse told me Luka threw a temper tantrum.
Oh, he definitely just sat down on the court and like I mean, it was standard Luka stuff. He was complaining because he got D'd up, and locked down by Lou Dort, and then got tossed, and then they got bounced.
Casey, you ever been D'd up?
No, sir, I have not.
You ain't ever played against Lou Dort.
I won't.
Here we go, James.
Nope.
No. Now I'm looking at clips. Am I reading this right? Dylan Brooks and Luka Doncic.
Oh yeah,
They were ejected.
And then Dylan Brooks had like boxing gloves in the hallway.
Stop it. Stop it.
They weren't ejected on the same play though. Like Luka got ejected for like disrespecting the ref, pretty much.
It's good to see that Luka's petulant behavior stretches to FIBA, though. It's good to see that that's not acting like a giant child. It's good to see that that's not.
It's just what he does.
Exclusive to the NBA audience.
No.
It gets to be seen on the world stage.
It's just what he does.
He also looked very good. He looked very fit.
Well,
Skinny Luka.
he does look. Looking at this, he does. He looks thinner.
Luka's gonna be the same player he always is.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
He ain't gonna come back no better or worse for that matter. Like he gonna put up 29, 7 and 7, and whether he's skinny or fat.
Yeah, I do.
This is what he
Well,
does.
I do think him being lighter though is better for his health.
Absolutely.
Long-term health.
I think he stumbled on some like Billy Blanks tapes or something, maybe some P90X and
Throwback.
What's he doing?
like
What was that called? Tybo?
Tybo. You Tybo.
Hey, sir.
The other one is Insanity. You guys ever heard of Insanity with Sean T? That one go crazy.
I did that. Yeah, I've done that before.
I did that for like 4 weeks or something like that. It's crazy.
all right.
Yeah. Well, what's the biggest off season? We're a month less than a month away from camp.
Well, from camp, I saw yesterday it was 49 days till opening night.
Wow. Okay. What's the biggest story still out there? Dame, James.
Yeah, it's Dame.
Is
It's
this
not
not a story
hard.
getting well, I don't think so, but I feel like Harden will also try to make himself the center of attention the best he can moving forward.
That is a story though, because everybody wants to see how he's gonna.
Is it a story because it's Philadelphia?
Because it's Philadelphia, and we may not like this, but because it's James Harden. James Harden's he's still a star. He's got
it a s-
name
Yeah,
recognition.
it's-
all-star.
I think it's a story because it's the off season. If not, I don't think many people would care. Like, I don't know. Like NBA drama is fun. That's what we all love the NBA drama. It's what drives everything. But like, I just don't think he's that impactful or
If
interesting
this
anymore.
story happened during the season, you don't think it'd be as big of a deal?
Maybe, but again, like we're talking about a guy on the decline of his career. We're not talking about, a guy who's still at the pinnacle. Even, Damian Lillard, you can still say is at the pinnacle. I mean, his last season was phenomenal and he's holding on at a certain level. Whether he reaches, that height again, we have no idea. But like, I don't think James Harden is still on the climb.
Oh, he's definitely not on the climb.
No, he's not on the climb, but he's still a notable player in this league.
No.
Maybe star. No, I'd say he's a star.
Okay. You could call him a star. It's going to be weird next year when 30 teams decide they don't want to sign that star.
It's like, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'd still say Russell Westbrook is a star. And I'm not trying to say one's better than the other, but Russell's on maybe the same place in his career as James is, but I still think Russell's a star.
You know what's crazy to think of? Like, we're probably 3 to 4 years away from most of these guys being out of the league. Like, whether it's LeBron, Steph, Dame would be at like 4 years. Dame is going to be at the end. Like so many of the guys that, Kevin Durant, like that we've come to know as like the superstar class of this generation. A lot of them are gone, will be gone. I mean, Westbrook might play till he's 50 just because he can, because Damian will still have his back.
Just facts. I will. Russ, until he does something that changes my opinion on him, Russ is going to be my favorite player. I don't care if that dude plays 2 minutes a game. He's going to be my favorite basketball player. I love everything about Russell Westbrook. I ride with that dude. Just like I hate everything about James Harden. I don't know what his career is going to look like next year, because he's not coming off a bad season. I don't.
Oh, James?
Yeah.
No, he didn't have a bad season last year.
So I don't know what that looks like for him next year, especially after all of that. Again, it's not even about seasons in basketball. Like, bro, you've quit. You quit on Houston. You quit on Brooklyn. And now you're pissed at Philadelphia. Who signs up for that to the tune of $100 million? My guess is absolutely no one.
Not me.
1 year deal for James Harden for the rest of his career.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could see the team LeBron, go ahead, like they think that they can solve anybody.
No,
They showed that again today.
I disagree because I think LeBron would be like, we ain't doing that. Bro, you're not. I'm 40. You're not quitting on me when I'm 40. Nah, man, I'm cool.
You're not hanging a fat suit on.
Yeah,
your
you ain't gonna do
Instagram
that
feed.
to me. Yeah, you ain't gonna do that to me. Absolutely not.
James Harden, last season, 21 points, 10 assists.
Led the league, right?
I don't know if he ended up. Did he end up leading the league?
I think so.
He might have.
I won't say that definitively.
And I'm not like I don't think Harden is this great basketball player anymore. And I don't want him on the team, right? I mean, that's still 21 and 10. That's still pretty good to go along with 6 rebounds
on a team that finished third,
3 seed. Yeah, and they had
Still second best. Yeah,
they had a moment where they were cooking in the season, and they weren't able to sustain it.
No, it's James Harden.
Yeah,
it's James Harden. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Which is why the Dame Lillard thing is a significantly bigger deal here this final month. But these are 2 trade requests / demands that are in limbo here with weeks. Like, what does Dame just show up to camp in 3 weeks? Does he just show up in Portland? Like, thanks for trying, guys. I don't know how you rectify that. I don't think Harden does. Though watching the reporting on Harden is getting really, really weird. But I don't think Harden shows up in Philly. But what's Dame do?
I think he shows up. Like there is a certain amount of respect that he has for the franchise that has been his franchise for the last 12, 13 years. Like I do believe that like he will do right. He'll do what he has to do to make amends until they find a spot for him to go. But I also don't think that this is where he wants to be. It's not where, like, that would be a really, really rough situation. And I think he would get booed. I think the fans in Portland, I don't think that they're going to appreciate this whole situation. Like, I know Sacramento Kings fans would boo him if this was the same situation, but I don't know. Maybe they won't.
I don't think they're going to boo Dame. If for whatever reason this doesn't get dealt with to Dame's liking, and he shows up in Portland, I don't think that crowd's going to boo him. I don't know how they're going to react to. I don't. Maybe it's I don't think they're going to. I don't want to go say it's a rousing ovation. They're going to blow the roof off. I don't know that they're going to do that. I just don't think they're going to boo him.
You may be right.
Maybe
about
I'm
that.
thinking.
No, you may be right.
I don't know
I'm
Portland.
just looking at it from
I don't know y'all like that.
I'm looking at it from Portland's perspective. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you keeping that?
I also didn't think they were going to boo Buddy every possession. So what the hell do I know?
If I'm Portland, though, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing having Dame Lillard show up to camp, playing games? Like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to be there. You're moving in a different direction as a franchise. Why are you moving on with this charade? Hell, what if he sprains an ankle or, even worse? Because you're messing around saying, nope, we're not trading him. We want him to be part of his future. No, you don't.
Yeah, but maybe they can't trade him. Like maybe they literally are looking at Miami like, dude, we can't do this. We can't do this deal. We can't.
And what I would do,
we act like this is so simple sometimes.
What I would do is I would keep him home. And
if you're Portland, you'd keep Dame home.
I'd say, Dame, we're working on a trade.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I didn't like it when Houston did it to Carmelo Anthony. I wouldn't like it if Portland did it to Dame Lillard.
No, not even out of spite. But like, Dame, we're working on a trade. We don't need you getting
But
hurt.
are you?
Yeah, and when Miami starts 3-7, they may change their tune.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about a team that didn't do well all season long last year and then made it all the way.
They just lost their starting point guard.
Yeah.
Good.
Look,
a couple pieces.
I don't know what's going to happen with that whole situation, but I would, if I'm Portland and he's still there and you haven't made the move yet, you at least bring him into camp and you have him around Scoot Henderson, because he's not going to be hey, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. He's going to be like, look, I tried my best to get us there. I couldn't get us there. I want to go play for a winner. You guys are in a different spot, a different position, and who and what you are as a franchise and a team. And that goes from each player too. Like, he's not going to hold anything against Scoot Henderson. He's going to sit there and support him and probably do a good job of teaching him how to be a leader until he's not there. And then, because I don't think anyone expects him to be there, but isn't he on a contract for another 3 years? Like, this isn't like a short thing.
4 years. Yeah. Him and he's got some years left.
This is the take you won't hear often. Shout out to Lazy Heat fan. Blazers have Scoot, Anthony, and Shaden. They have 3 young core pieces. Stop being greedy, Portland.
Lazy, sit down. Stop it. Stop being greedy.
You take your Tyler Hero and shut up. That's what he's saying. He's telling the Blazers, you take Tyler Hero and you shut up.
You got one of the best shooting guards the game's ever seen with 4 years on his contract. And Lazy said, stop being greedy, sir.
Yeah. That you should have been more, Lazy should have been more greedy when he was making that trade he made last week. He gave up, what did he give? And he got AJ Brown and he traded away, Niners running back.
Christian McCaffrey?
Christian McCaffrey.
He was setting you up for fantasy football advice?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, he was trying to get us to judge the trade he'd already pulled off. It was like, bro, what are you doing? What have you done? McCaffrey. Yeah, my bad. I
shout out to the insiders. Fantasy Friday, which I think has something to do with football. Can be heard. I am not a fantasy football guy, but I had the longest drive in history on Friday, and I listened to virtually the entire show with James and Kyle, and I thought that fantasy segment was super interesting.
Oh, it was fun. He's really good for us. Yeah, he's really good. I don't know that I used a lot of his stuff in my fantasy draft, but I do like, sort of where he was coming from.
Lazy, Jesse said Lazy got jumped in the chat.
Oh,
he did.
Bro, Lazy got jumped in the chat and by the fantasy guest.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we flamed him on the air. He got his trade went to the expert, and the expert's like, wait, what?
Wait a minute, Lazy in the chat, man. What did he say? It was McCaffrey for AJ Brown. and Jalen Hurts is his QB.
Now he's expanded the trade. Like he's telling us now the trade is bigger than that. That's not what we saw. Like the day one, the trade was straight up. And it's like, oh no. Yeah.
Poor Lazy.
Poor Lazy.
Sorry to our brother Lazy. That's tough. Well, those I think will be two of the biggest stories that we follow moving forward. But man, it feels like this Giannis thing is starting to gain a little more traction than it should. And I don't think Giannis is the last. Giannis is going to be the most important. Giannis's extension eligible, I believe the date was September 22nd. I guess someone asked him if he's going to sign, and he said no. Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, by the end of September, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George will be extension eligible. I know one extension hasn't been extended. I'm guessing by the end of September, both extensions won't be extended. And the Clippers are going to be another really interesting team to watch, especially if you've been following the Ty Lue situation. That team could be completely wiped out by February.
Not wrong.
You know, though, there's a difference with a team like the Clippers, right? The Clippers have so much money backing them that I don't think Ballmer is going to ever believe in a reboot. And so what he's going to do is he's going to pay for the most expensive players he can possibly get. And that's where, like, we have all these folks out there like, oh, who are the Kings bidding against with Domantas Sabonis? I don't know. Maybe the Clippers, where Sabonis it sets up shop in the summer, or used to set up shop in the summer in LA. Yeah, why would you think that you couldn't try to convince him to come over and sign with you if you have a whole bunch of cap space? So, like, I think you're always, with a team like the Clippers, you're always going to be worried that they have unlimited pockets. Like there is no bottom to the pockets, and they're going to spend. So yeah, I would be surprised if they don't try to extend at least one of those guys, but I don't know. If not, it will make for a very interesting season, because those are some pretty nice rentals that you might get your hands on.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've always thought about was my main man Paul George coming to Sacramento. I don't even want to begin to think about what a trade would look like in that situation. But PG in Sacramento, come on now. It's my boy Paul George.
You'd be losing a lot.
You'd
be losing a lot.
Yeah, once picked him to win the MVP. I think it was last season.
It was last season.
Way back in 6, you picked him to win. Wait, no, it was last season.
Yeah, season. My boy PG.
It's still, I mean, until those guys are gone, that's still an intriguing team to watch to me.
Absolutely.
I think that roster is really solid. It's just a matter of, are they playing? Are they healthy? Ty Lue said they're healthy right now. And I think that was a bit of a question. Were they all going to be healthy going? I say all, two of them. Were they going to be healthy going into training camp? Ty Lue said they are. There's allegedly been conversations about taking the regular season more seriously. Okay. I think the biggest thing we learned, like, Kawhi got hurt last year.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. Like, dude load managed all year. And I understand that's kind of that's been his thing since whatever happened in San Antonio happened. But to do all of that and still get hurt, I don't know. Like, hey, Kawhi, like, we tried it your way, bro. Yeah. It didn't work. We got to win some games here.
Yeah.
Also, we're opening $1 billion arena in a year or two. Like, we need to get cooking. Multi-billion-dollar arena.
Yeah, you could see the Clippers going all in on like a really high level youth movement, like not messing around so much with draft picks as much as going all in and finding young guys who, buying them out of contracts, like, really pushing the envelope on how you can acquire players.
Yeah.
So
I think this will be one of those James Harden, Oklahoma City, Serge Ibaka things. Would the Clippers have been, well, I've always been of the belief Kawhi Leonard was going to the Clippers whether Paul George did or not. That's my opinion.
I feel the same.
People would refute that. My opinion is Kawhi used his leverage to get Paul George. But play along for a minute.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Los Angeles. Is that a better look than Kawhi Leonard with Paul George?
With what we know now of SGA, yeah.
It feels like there are people in the Clippers organization, including Doc, who knew it then.
I think Jerry West said it too.
I think he did. I don't remember. It hasn't hit winning time yet. So until it hits winning time, I'm not sure. But by the way, did you see that clip I retweeted yesterday? The clip of the Jerry West press conference?
Oh, the real one?
The real one?
Yeah,
with the Pat, right? Like it was bar, as Jesse likes to say, bar for bar.
That's crazy.
That's why winning time is so good.
Like
James,
that,
are you watching winning time?
I haven't watched it. I'm waiting for the sequel, Losing Time, which is the Clippers organization.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, there's that.
I called for a shot at the Clippers. But watching it on the show, it's like, nah, that's too crazy.
It's too awkward. I love when it flashes on the screen. Yes, this really happened. And then someone found the clip of the press conference and him introducing Jerry West as like the co-head coach and Jerry West coming up going, yeah, I just want to be clear. Pat Riley's the coach. I'm here. Even the guys shouting, work for or work with? To work with and hopefully work for. Oh, what a cluster. Oh, my gosh. Those early Jerry Buss years look a lot like the Los Angeles Clippers.
Man.
Just a mess.
That show is fire.
This show is
that
so
show
good.
is the best.
That show is so
that might
good.
be the best.
James, you gotta
show
watch
I've
it.
ever seen.
You gotta watch it.
I'll watch it. It's like crazy.
You gotta watch
docudrama.
it with the idea.
They'll turn up the volume.
Based on reality, but it's not real. You just watch it like that, and that show is just entertaining as hell.
All right. I'll watch it. I'll put it on my list. My list is
the
long.
difference between James's list, like James actually watched the shows that he says he's going to watch.
What you talking about?
You do not.
I haven't watched The Office before.
You've watched one. You've watched like 4 episodes, and since watching the basketball episode, you watched a half going to pick up food, and then claim that you watched The Office. Stop it!
Don't do that.
If James can go back and
way
watch
less
Snowfall.
than a half.
Okay.
If James can go back and watch Snowfall, you can do The Office.
Dude, James is watching Snowfall for
I'm
God's
watching
sake.
Snowfall too.
Yeah. I probably could watch.
Get caught up with Tommy.
Yeah.
You just started watching. Okay, I'm not fighting with you,
caught up
bro.
with Tommy.
We've got 2 more hours together. I'm not trying to fight with you right now. You just started watching Tommy the day before last.
I had to get caught up because the new season's out.
You were supposed to watch Snowfall like a year ago.
I did start watching Snowfall.
And where are you at now?
I'm somewhere in the
Have you
first
gotten
season.
to the Tiger in South Central?
No, far
because
from that.
until you get to the Tiger in South Central.
Sounds like I'm far from that.
Our Kings Insider, the Kings Beat, and of course the host of the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Matson, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. here on ESPN 1320.